The Arabian Nights. The Arabian Nights is a medieval compilation of traditional tales from the Middle East, using the form of the framed story. The core of these stories is formed by an ancient Persian book. It is one of the most important and influential works of universal literature. The book has been adapted many times for use by children and adolescents in all Western countries. We can see wonderful stories in which there are adventures and fantasy, which leave us a really good message and make us want to keep reading the interesting storyline that it has. Now, join me listening to what our classmates have for us in the following interview, where each one will expose what they think and the impact they have with the different stories in the book, The Arabian Nights. Unit 1. Why did the idea of writing a title like Arabian Nights come up?
Were translated for the first time and why certain aspects of the text have become symbols of the East that persist to this day. To change stereotypes, they must first be recognized, and such perspective can help us do this.
What are the topics in which we must be prepared, as we have a vision of Islamic societies as a Puritan and sexually repressive?
In the whole text, you will find a lot of uncensoring content that could be somehow rude in everyday common academic sense, but for this, we have to be prepared on the topics we're going to talk about, like the sexually repression that women live in those times. We should have a sense of tolerance and understanding because their behaviors were based in their own religion. So since then we can get an idea for why of the situations.
Unit 2. As the author of this great work, what could you say about Orientalism?
Thanks to the book Orientalism by Edward Said, we have a starting point to understand what this is talking about, which is based on the study of Oriental culture, since there was a growing idea of how Europe and the United States saw this part of the world.
From the point of view and in which this work was carried out, how is Orientalism seen its different characteristics?
First is a polysemic term used to designate Eastern studies and historical civilizations, and of course is the distribution of a certain geopolitical consciousness in same aesthetic texts, scholars, sociological and historical and economics, and of course elaboration of a basic geopolitical distinction.
Unit 3. We see that there has been a great development in the structure of this work, leading it to be a recognized work. But what about the different themes, and how many are they?
Well, the plot of this story speaks of other topics that are not spoken in other stories, which makes it part of an avant-garde story. But what recognizes it is that also mixing it with a three-way story, and in total are 5 stories, and the stories are the story of the fisherman and the demon, the tale of King Junan and the sage Duban, the tale of the husband and the parrot, the tale of the king's son and the she-bull enchanted king.
As many works have been unique, this could not be left out of being created and fulfilling an objective. What is the objective that the work wanted to fulfill from the beginning?
To discuss and explore the complex narrative structure of the Arabian Nights and the relation be for and con.
Unit 4. Why is the gender issue one of the most provocative and challenges in U.S.-Middle East relations?
Well, because in the states of the Middle East, women are forbidden to show their bodies. This factor is more for reasons of religion, but also involves the government as they have less rights than men, and the difference is both in politics and religion.
We know that Islam has had a fairly complex history, but at the same time something very worth highlighting to women. How has Islam improved the lives of women during all this time?
This best refers to the relationships between the husband and his wife, and not in general context of society. There differs between the roles of women and men, rights and obligations. However, neither the Quran nor the Hadith mention that women should be housewives.
We all know that
the girl at the package claim explaining the East-West culture gap was released. It continued not only the discussion we'd had in our sandwich workshop, but also the exploration of East-West difference from her either the fiction book, tiger writing, art, culture, and the entertainment self.